Post Game Live, the Knicks post game show for the fans, by the fans. Knicks lose a tough one in DC, man, 108-95. We're going to break it all down, give you our takeaways, player ratings, and of course, we want to hear from you guys. The phone lines are up, 657-383-1509. Call us up or join the YouTube chat. Let us know what you thought about tonight's loss, man. We're going to get into it right now.
Knicks Fan TV. Y'all watching Knicks Fan TV.
All right, bro. Thanks, man.
Post Game Live, Sunday night Knicks, daylight savings time Knicks. With the extra hour of sleep could not help the Knicks. The Knicks looked a little sleepy out there. Al. What happened out there tonight, man?
Clearly, it helped the Woods more than it helped the Knicks. That's for sure. I tweeted, you would have thought this was like the second game of a back-to-back tonight. They just looked very, they looked tired. I don't know what it was. It was just not the Knicks' night tonight. They came out and A, a little sluggish. B, there was like a lid on the hoop for the first like quarter and a half. And they tried their best. They tried to get back into it, but they just kind of faltered. I caught a Wizards team that was clearly frustrated and really needed a win and was playing like it was a must win. So
you could see the sense of urgency from the Wizards. They had it. They were hungrier than us tonight. I thought it was too much offensive stagnation from us. The point guards just weren't delivering. It seemed like once, Wall and Beal and the guards kind of put the pressure up on Frank, he was moving east-west rather than north and south. So Frank didn't really give us that, that continuity that we needed on the offensive end early. But our defense kept us in there. Give credit. I thought we got after. We were scrappy defensively. Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, like, Trier had a lot to do with that again. Both ends of the floor, he didn't. We were just talking about it before we went on air here. He didn't really light it up on the score sheet, like you would have thought based off watching him. He had like 9 points, so it wasn't nearly like his explosion the other night. But he brought some of those same things that you look to see from him, which is intensity on both sides, getting up in John Wall's face on the defensive end.
Yeah.
Same with Bradley Beal. He had great defensive possessions against both of them at different points. And then on offense, he's creating, doing his thing. He seemed a little tentative at times, which was a little strange to see from him. Like, I know in the first half or so, he passed out of what seemed like they were pretty easy drives, but he had a pretty solid game overall. And like Mitch Robinson, pretty solid game again as well. So that was good to see. And Cantor actually kind of killed it today.
Cantor paced us in the second half. In the first half, second quarter, Cantor really did his thing, man, on both ends, surprisingly. The defensive end was more surprising than offense.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd be the first guy to kill him if he was out there doing his usual shtick where, he comes out and, plays on offense, puts out 100% there, gets some boards and then, dogs it on defense, which is kind of his usual MO. But he played pretty well today, like all over, like 18 points, 12 boards. But more importantly, I mean, the standout sequence to me, probably the most standout one to me for him for the game was he got switched on to John Wall in the perimeter and he harassed him and
turnover.
Wall like dribbled it out of bounds. I was like, wow, that was unexpected. Like,
force a turnover. Man. It was. I think that the two unexpected. Tonight we were once again paced by the bench, but in the first 5 games, that bench consisted of ISO, Dotson a little bit later on. Noah Vonleh and so on. But tonight it was Lance in the first half. Give credit, Lance had a decent first half on both ends. Cantor. And once again, Dotson starting. But Dotson, man, another game in double figures. 12 straight games in double figures. And Dotson, I think, to close the second half with like 9 straight points. Dotson was on fire in that first half, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dotson played great. I feel like I'm out of things to say about him at this point. It's not that I've been saying them all on here. I haven't been here for about a week. But I mean, he's great, man. He's like the same stuff I was just talking about with Trier a second ago. He doesn't stop on either end of the floor. He's such a great rebounder for a guard, which is very cool out there. And he just, I don't know, he seems like a really smart ball player to me,
Yeah.
man. Like he always seems to make the right decision with the ball for the most part. You know, like there was only one today there's one today where he went for like a pull up mid range shot.
Yeah.
And
he
tried
passed
to pass
out of it. Yep.
And passed it like right to a Wizard. That was a little bit of a head scratcher, but those are so minimal with him. It's so nice to see, like, you know, the Knicks just have a lot of players that just kind of get it, you know, and he's one of those guys. And I don't know if he's ever going to be like an all-star, superstar, whatever, you know, but he's definitely a player. Like, I think they've definitely got a
solid role player for us, man. I mean, I thought what really did us in tonight was the turnovers, and like I said, I attributed to that to, you know, lack of effective point guard play. A lot of our guards, you know, even though Trey finished with double figures, you know, everybody was kind of just doing their ISO thing. You know, ISO was doing his ISO thing. Trey was, you know, and that's Trey's strengths. You know, when we needed a bucket, Trey was there to give us buckets, but we just couldn't get any type of offensive fluidity going, no pace. And you know, it really showed out there. And when the Wizards turned it up, you know, that was basically it, man. Unforced errors and you know, untimely technical by Mitchell Robinson. John Wall obviously turned it up, you know, when he needed to, and that was all she wrote.
Well, and you know, like it's easy to forget because they sucked so much to start the season. Like that duo of Wall and Beal, when they're clicking and they are like engaged and they're trying, they are good. You know what I mean? And Wall when he's engaged can be a really good defender. And I feel like today he was engaged, so we just happened to catch him on a bad day.
Yeah.
Or a bad day busted. Good day for him.
Nah, John Wall was tight, man. Yeah. He was tight.
Yeah.
He was tight.
Yeah, he was playing passing lanes. I mean, he was doing it all, you know. He was doing everything that like good version of John Wall does.
True indeed. What did you think about in the first quarter? Timmy goes down with scary back injury. Didn't look like he was going to return. Ends up returning later on in the game, but was just real ineffective. Didn't have the lift. Obviously was forcing, you know, they was catching him on some untimely turnovers. I thought he should have just sat. You know, we got a back-to-back tomorrow coming back home against Chicago. I didn't really see the need for Timmy there when, you know, you're trying to get Moutier minutes. Trey's playing well. ISO, you know, we had enough guards out there. I didn't really think we needed Timmy in that game, you know, with that back injury. But what'd you think about him coming back?
Yeah, no, I'm like totally in agreement with you. You know, if there's one position that we're pretty deep at on this team, the general like 2-guard, you know, 3 whatever flex, you know, that Fizdale runs out there of you know, be it Timmy or Tree or, you know, those type of players. We have a lot of guys
Moutier,
like that.
I mean, sometimes he even plays 3-4 guards at one time. Yeah.
Same. And Frank, obviously, Frank too. So yeah, I mean, we're not light at that position. So I thought it was a little weird that they did let him come back, especially given like obviously we're not in an every win counts situation here. Like I really don't think we're going to be pushing for a playoff spot this year.
Right.
So it makes me, it's not like, oh, this is going to pay off somewhere down the line if he plays tonight and we get this W. Like, no, ultimately it's one game. I would have just left him, but
yeah,
it is what it is. You know what I mean? Clearly they took him out towards the end of the game, you know, like right towards the very end.
Yeah, it looked like he went to go get treatment. Yeah, it looked like he went to go get treatment on his back for sure.
Exactly. Like I personally, like all it would have taken for me would be to see him during like second half shoot around, you know, before the second half there, and I probably would have pulled him. But I don't know, maybe Fizdale just, you know, I think Fizdale wants to create a atmosphere where he trusts his players and trusts that they know themselves kind of thing. And especially since Tim's one of the vets, maybe he was just like, I'm good, I can go out there.
You can't trust him, man.
I probably would have pulled.
He'll do anything to go out there and shoot, man. You can't trust him, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, I'm not saying I would have. I'm just saying that I think maybe his thought process is.
Yeah.
But, ultimately, you know, whatever. As long as he didn't hurt himself further. Like, if it comes out tomorrow that he did something to hurt himself further by playing in the second half, I'll be a little pissed because guy's having a good campaign so far. Like, it'd be a shame for it to get derailed by something.
Absolutely, man. And he had his, you know, an off night tonight on a rather good season so far for Timmy, but he had an off night tonight. What did you take out of the well, I see a lot of people in the chat talking about the officiating, and that was another thing I was thinking about. I look on the stat sheet tonight, and I see the Wizards had 39 free throw attempts, and the Knicks had 16. I mean, they had double the amount of free throw attempts. Do you attribute that to our lack of aggressiveness, or do you think the Zebras just weren't calling it for us tonight?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like, I felt like the Wizards in some situations were legitimately playing good D, and so you can't count that against them that they play good D when the Knicks were trying to draw fouls and just tied them up or whatever. Like, there was a number of those. I felt like there was a really, really high number of like tie-ups right around the rim for whatever reason tonight. Like, guys getting all the way up to the rim and then just getting like stuffed, but like super, So I don't necessarily know that had anything to do with the refs, but there were some questionable calls, I thought, but it's always how it's going to go. Quite frankly, like, the Wizards are a veteran team, the Knicks are a young team. So most nights the veteran team's going to win out on the whistle, especially when you have guys with name power like Wall and Beal and whatever.
True.
I'm not worried about it.
And I thought even like Money Mitch, they were they gave him the rookie treatment tonight for sure, because Money Mitch was getting thrown around out there. And I thought they definitely missed a lot of calls on him.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I thought that he kind of had a moment of maybe getting thrown back to earth a little bit today.
Yeah.
After having that awesome game, that awesome little stretch of games. Not to say he had a bad game today. He put up like a number of great highlights and stuff, but I think all in all, like, he kind of had a back to earth moment today, especially with like officiating and stuff like that. Like, hey, you're still a rookie. Like, you can't be going wild out there. Like, you really gotta keep yourself reeled in. But that's important lessons for him to learn anyway. So I'm fine with that.
I agree with that. Well said on that. Once again, this is Post Game Live. Happy Sunday to everybody, or not so happy Sunday for us Knicks fans. Can't win them all after that Friday night victory in Dallas. Knicks Fan TV, CP in the building. My man Alex Wolf is joining us on the other side from Posting and Toasting. Jay Ellis is back. He's recording a podcast tonight, so he couldn't make it. I'm sure he'll be back on tomorrow. Shout out to everybody in the chat weighing in on their opinions. Shout out Chris Carr, Be Quiet Money, D Brown, Alex Dominica, Alex Collins, all the way from Ireland, checking in on the chat. A lot of people from Puerto Rico in here. Shout out everybody from Puerto Rico. And, yeah, man, just continue giving us your comments. We'll get to the chat in a minute. But let's go to the phones. My guy Jamal from Brooklyn was waiting for a while. He wants to talk about the game, the rotations, and Coach Fizz. Jamal, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's good, family? How you doing?
Good, man. What'd you think about the game tonight, bro?
I was there. I was actually in the front row. I'm from Brooklyn, but I'm out here in D.C.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a fan of the show, man. Seeing do y'all thing, fan of the show.
Nice, man. Nice.
From what I've seen tonight, no doubt, bro. From what I see tonight, I don't want nobody to really judge the Knicks. Right now, they're a young team.
Yeah.
From what I see with Fizz, I'm looking at the numbers, the minutes. It seems like everybody getting equal minutes. Why was Mario getting more minutes than Frank? I don't understand that. Or Moutier and Frank getting the same amount of minutes. I don't think he's using Frank right. I think Frank should be utilized more pick and roll with Mitchell. What you think, bro?
I think tonight, I didn't think defensively. I think Frank was definitely he played well. He was typical Frank. I think offensively, he just wasn't aggressive enough to give us what we needed out there. And like you said, like you opened with, Fizz. This is an open rotation right now. Fizz wants to give different combinations. He wants to see what he's working with. He doesn't know these guys that well, so that's why when Moutier came back, I knew Moutier was going to take Ron Baker's spot in terms of minutes. And, he went with Mario for a couple minutes down the stretch. But, I didn't really have an issue with how he used Frank tonight. Alex, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough matchup for Frank. I think that's ultimately what it comes down to, and Frank's still working on his handle and stuff. And, like, when you're facing engaged John Wall, like, that's a hell of a matchup to go up to.
It's tough.
And I think that was a little tough on him. I mean, other things, he's bound to have his ups and downs. But, yeah, I agree. I mean, definitely when he was at his best tonight was when he was running pick and roll with Mitch. and
I want to see more of that, man. I want them to work on that so badly. They need to get Mitch involved in that pick and roll, man. It's too easy.
Well, and
I got one more thing to say, bro. I got one more thing to say.
Go ahead, Jamal.
Mm-hmm. Nah, just like I was thinking about like that good pick and roll with Mitch, Money Mitch, and they consistent with that. Another thing I noticed with a couple of the fouls, like Money Mitch got 2 fouls that I didn't think was foul, especially when he blocked John Wall and they was calling a foul. I thought the ref was very lenient towards the Wizards. What you guys think about that?
Yeah, I spoke on that just before we patched you in, and appreciate the call, man. You know, it seemed like there was a free throw disparity tonight, you know, with the Wizards shooting twice as many. But, you know, that's just how it goes sometimes on the road. You know, we're a young team, and, you know, sometimes you got to get more aggressive and make them call it. And other times, you know, it's just going to be unbalanced. You know what I mean? But, yeah, man. Yo, Jamal, one more thing, man. How was the vibe in the stadium, man? It looked like it was a ton of Knicks fans in there, bro.
Oh, yo, when I told you, it seemed like 50-50.
Yeah.
I just like a recording, so I don't know if I can post recording. It seemed like probably 50-50 Knicks fans. Knicks fans were going crazy.
Yeah.
Knicks fans were going, so I can't wait till you get KP and Knox back. It's going to be bananas. I see it, but it definitely was a lot of New York fans. You're going to see a lot more New York fans. Call it in. You bros doing your thing, man.
Appreciate it, man, and definitely hope to hear from you again, man. Definitely thanks for checking in all the way from D.C.
Right,
appreciate it, bro.
All right, hold it down. All right.
Yeah, it was Jamal from Brooklyn checking in all the way from D.C. It's always a good look, man. Definitely appreciate that.
Tell you what, man, he's not wrong either. Yo, he's not wrong. That's one of the bigger like Knicks road contingencies, I think. In DC. I don't know what it is. People love the Knicks down there.
Also, proximity. You got a lot of New Yorkers living down there. It's cheaper to live. I guess if you're like, easy to get back to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, or if you're like South Jersey or thin and you're a Knicks fan, that can maybe actually be a little closer. But yeah, it always seems like there's like a good, no matter how good or bad the Knicks are, it always seems like there's a lot of Knicks fans in DC.
Facts. I would say D.C., Atlanta. When I used to live in Atlanta, boy, I remember one time, man, this dude Al Horford got so tight at Atlanta Hawks fans because the whole Phillips Arena was booing Al Horford at the line, and Al Horford was so tight, man, because it was like a Knicks home game in there. I would say Atlanta, definitely Miami, Charlotte.
I was about to say Miami.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Man, so many Knicks fans in Miami.
Hell yeah, you know it, man.
It's all the retirees, man.
Exactly. All right, let's go to Long Island. This guy Adil, he wants to talk about Mitch, and he says Mitch should keep starting over Canner. Adil, what's going on, man?
Hey, how are you?
Good, man. What's going on?
Yeah, so I mean, Enes Kanter, he had a really good game, like 18 points,
Yeah. Do me a favor, bro. Just speak up a little bit. Al, can you hear him?
Yeah, I can hear.
My bad.
Yeah, we good.
Okay.
All
right. Yeah, go ahead, bro. You're good.
So, Fizdale, he was like, you got to earn your minutes. So I'm just wondering, you think that Mitch, Mitch, like, do you think like he still has earned that starting spot, or do you think like Enes Kanter, do you think he earned it, or should he like keep leading the second unit, or what?
Al, what do you think, man? Because I mean, I know some people that still, Team Canner, and don't, like that he's not starting. Canner himself doesn't like him starting. Well, where are you at on the Mitch Canner rotation right now?
Here's where I'm at. So, given how this team is, like what our construction of the team is, I think Mitch should keep starting, because this isn't a team that has any like short-term aspirations.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we're not a team.
We're not going anywhere, man. Yeah.
Exactly. We're trying to get better. We're trying to develop these kids. So I think personally it's a better idea to play Mitch, start him, give him those starters minutes, get him used to playing against the best, get him used to playing against the starters on other teams and all that. And like Cancer, like it sucks. I understand he's a good player. And I understand that he has a lot of things to offer to this team. I understand he loves the city, everything else, but the harsh reality of it is that it's not even a guarantee he's going to be here.
Yeah, he has no future here, man. He has no future.
Exactly. And Mitch, you got locked up for 4 years. Like, I think you want to put as much effort into developing him as you can. Like, you gotta do it because he looks way more ready than you thought he would. You know what I mean?
Nice.
I, for one, thought that he was gonna need time in the G League and stuff.
Me too.
And I already feel silly. You know what I mean? I'm like, there's no way. Wait, does this dude need to go to the
G League? Do you think like he could benefit from the G League anyway though if he went down?
Yeah, I think he could be any type of playing time. I think he could. But I mean, Alex, you're probably gonna say he's better off staying with the main club, right?
That's the main reason I say that is because my main worry with him going into the season is that on an NBA floor, he wasn't going to be able to stay out there for more than 10 minutes without fouling out.
Yeah, we thought the foul trouble was going to be an issue. It really hasn't been.
Mm-hmm. It's a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, at times, he'll get a little ahead of himself and get 3 fouls or something a little before you want him to. But in the grand scheme of things, he's been pretty in control out there on defense, and he's getting blocks and he's filling the lane well and stuff. So I think, and he's not doing like the real silly stuff. Like during like summer league, he was like reaching in all the time and doing like over the backs and crap.
Right. He's not doing those ticky tacks as much.
Yeah, so I think just based off of that, like based off the fact that you can play him for 30 minutes in the NBA, I would just keep doing it. You know, forget it.
Might as well.
What more does he have to gain from playing 30 minutes? Because you wouldn't play him more than 35 minutes in the G League anyway.
True.
Just leave him up here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he looks, obviously he's a rookie out there. Obviously he's still got that raw, tendencies, but he's more than holding his own at times out there. So like you said, keeping him up with the main club is not going to hurt him. At the same time, echoing your sentiments on Canner, the future's not clear with Canner right now. The future is clear with Mitch. We're going to build this team with Mitch. I like that Fizdale went with his top defenders. He went with Frank. He went with Dotson. He went with Mitch. And he went with Vonleh. Timmy's your best player on the team right now until KP comes back. And those guys, maybe with the exception of Vonleh, those 4 guys, are your future with KP, with Knox, with whoever this next draft pick is going to be. So might as well start to build, like Fizz said, he's trying to build a culture. We're trying to build a culture, and you have to do that with your young guys and with your best defenders. So I have no issue with Canner, losing that starting spot. As we've seen tonight, he can still be effective off the bench, putting up the same double-doubles and still contributing to the team. I don't think it's a factor of him starting or not.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe it even motivates him to come out there with even more fire to begin with when he gets right off the bench. So yeah, I'm fine with the arrangement the way it is. And quite frankly, if Cantor pouts about it or whatever, it's not really justifiable to pout about it. You know what I mean? It is like, should know what this team's doing. You know what I mean? Like where we're going, what we're doing. I think he's got an idea too.
Indeed. All right, let's go back to the phones. Herman from Newark wants to talk about the end of the game. Herman, you're on the line. What's going on, man?
How you doing today, fellas?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. So, I mean, I didn't think that they were really sluggish to start the game. I like the energy level, but I don't think that they were ready for the defense that Washington was going to have when it started. And, you could tell how aggressive Washington was, just jumping these passing lanes. And, the Knicks offense right now is just kind of real basic. They're not putting in a lot of second and tertiary stuff in their offense. So, they were struggling. But one thing to watch for that I can see the Knicks doing is I could see them at the end of these games not having a real point guard on the floor. I could see them going with a lineup with Trier and Timmy, Dotson, Kevin Knox, and Mitchell Robinson to close these games out. I could see that because you can interchange a lot of positions, you can switch a lot of pick and rolls. But these are a lot of the young guys. You talked about it. These are the future. So I think they're gonna close a lot of games out with this group. They're gonna lose a lot of these games, but I think sometimes you got to lose some battles to win a war. But I like the young talent that the Knicks had. But this was a learning experience today. We all knew this was going to be a trouble game today.
Yeah,
we knew that.
It's a tough one, man. And Herman, appreciate the call, my guy. Definitely call back.
Thank you.
Alex, man. I think ISO is. I think Fizzo's going to go to ISO a lot down the stretch. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think ISO is definitely going to be one of the guards that's going to be playing in crunch time for sure.
He's been probably the most surefire guy on this team so far this year. That like, if you need someone to score, he can score. I mean, he's got those deadly ISO moves, you know, and it's funny because everybody always talks about ISO like it's the devil these days in the NBA, but you need it sometimes. And man, that kid's, I mean, he's so creative with the ball. Oh, just he's got all the different dribbles. You know, he can go behind the back, like through the legs, hard cuts, hard fakes, stuff like that. And it doesn't matter, man. He's got the whole bag of tricks.
And he's fearless, man. A lot of he's
yeah.
got that X factor. Like, yo, I don't care. Like, ISO's going at you, man. You know what I mean? He's getting into it with John Wall. You know, Bradley Beal. He doesn't care. Like, ISO's just fearless out there, man. That's what I like about him a lot.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, he's got like a real chip on his shoulder. And look, I'll probably get some looks or some comments or whatever from people. But I'm like just too young to have been around for Starks, so I can't really speak to this.
Yeah.
But from what I've heard and from what I've watched, this kid's got a lot of Johnson in him. You know,
I've been around for Starks.
Chip on his shoulder.
I've been around for Starks, and I just pulled up a tweet from Macri. And before I pulled up a tweet from my guy, Chris Del Blago on Twitter. Both of them compare him to Starks. So you're not the only one, man. A lot of people see him. A lot of people see it in him. I see it as well, man. Because he's got that like hot head to him, and he's fearless. ISO's fearless, man.
Yep. Yeah, he's and you could tell that he loves being here. You know, I think even it was funny right before we got on air. I was watching like the MSG post game show, and I'm watching like their interviews with the players, and they're interviewing Trier, and I'm just like, man, this kid just like he just gets it, man. Like he's here for this city, you know what I mean? Like he's ready for it. Like he's so composed, he knows what he's talking about. Facts. Whereas like on the other hand of things, when we're talking about the other rookies, like Knox also seems kind of made for New York, but like Mitch seems like he's still a little figuring it out. He's figuring out the media and all that stuff. But like Trier, man, he's just built, man. He knows what he's doing.
And it's so funny. Me and Jay Ellis on our mid-season award predictions, we were kind of like, all right, maybe it's just obvious that Knox will be the team rookie of the year and possibly in the runnings for NBA rookie of the year. But I mean, ISO right now is the man to beat, especially on the team. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he might not fall into the running for the league-wide, but team-wise, ISO's that guy out of the rookies right now until Knox proves otherwise.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of unfair to Knox right now. I'm so looking forward to him coming back because I want to see what I want to see what he does when he gets back. But we had such a small sample of him, you know what I mean? It was like the smallest little taste of what Kevin Knox can maybe do. And so I hope he comes back and he starts playing like the guy that we thought was going to be. I mean, you're right. Like even if Knox comes in and he does play really well, like it's a hell of a competition between these three. Like if you're trying to pick out which one's the best, because Mitch does a lot of things, maybe not necessarily that show up on the stat sheet, but he's playing good D.
He affects the game.
He really. I mean, his plus minus numbers, take them for what they are. It's just another stat that you can take with a grain. But a lot of these metrics that try to paint how much impact guys have on the court are painting Mitch in a really, really good light so far.
True.
He's really good.
True indeed. We're going to get to the calls in a second. Johnny, Tony, and Eric waiting on the line. Once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. This is Post Game Live Sunday night. Tough loss. Knicks lose 108-95. This is the Post Game Live show for the fans, by the fans. If this is your first time in the chat, give me a hashtag new so we can shout you out in the chat. Also, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, whether you're a diehard Knicks fan, a basketball fan, hit that subscribe button and a notification bell so you know the next time that we come on, and that next time is going to be tomorrow night after the Bulls game. Let's take a look at the chat. Johnny White Sheet TV. Shout out Johnny. Johnny's new in here. Nate Love, the Queen, Alfredo Hernandez. Shout out everybody in the chat. A lot of the regulars in here. Al, man, Friday night was a good look. Friday night was a good look, man. To anybody that wasn't able to get out to the watch party against the Mavs. It was a great event put on by Poston and Tosin, Knicks Film School, myself, Nick of Time Show, the Hard Knicks Life podcast. Real good time at Slattery's Pub in New York City. So, Al, definitely great job on that. And
thank you.
The feedback was people were like, yo, let me know next time. So
yeah,
we're gonna have to do it again, man.
That's what I kept hearing all night, man. Yeah, we're kind of. I gotta talk with JB, but we're definitely gonna try to do that again.
Yeah,
that was so
streets are asking
fun,
for it, man.
Yo, to anybody watching on here that came out, thank you so much. That was awesome.
Yeah,
it was. I came to JB with that idea, whatever, 3 months ago. We put this together in like a couple months, like we really hunkered down on it maybe in the last like month and a half and started really getting it together. And it just came together so nicely, man. I think we probably had about 85 people in there.
Yeah.
If I had to guess at its top. And I mean, that's the same, like it was so cool. And so many people, saying that they, they watch Knicks Fan TV, they read PNT, they, know whatever, this, that, the other. It was just so cool to like meet all these people that,
True.
You normally would only see online or see.
Yeah, man, it was cool, man. I definitely got to meet a lot of people that watched the show, like you said, man. And we got Garden of Dreams on board. Garden of Dreams gave away some cool merchandise. So we definitely got to plan another one.
Something like we got I don't know the final total yet because we got 10% of the bar tab for the night went to Garden of Dreams as well. But we had almost $520 just on raffle tickets went to Garden of Dreams. And then if I had to guess, man, I mean, knowing that there's like 80 rowdy Knicks fans, I think we probably could have almost cleared $1,000 for them. So that's awesome.
Facts.
I was very happy with that result.
Jeremy Maynard said that Viv sober up yet. Yo, Viv was sauce, man. shout out Viv.
Yeah, Macri was a little.
Macri was not. Yo, I left Macri on the train, man, passed out, sleeping. Macri was sleeping. I hope he didn't miss a stop, but it was a good time, man. Real good time.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Johnny wants to talk about the game in general. Johnny, what's going on, bro?
What's up?
Chill, man. What's going on? What you think about the game?
I feel like Tim Hardaway Jr. could have played way better. Only 7 points, 24 minutes. Only shot 20% from the field.
Yeah, I mean, it was an off night for Timmy. The back injury definitely was bothering him. I can't knock Timmy for that performance tonight. What about
he was getting no lift. You know what I mean? Like I would blame Fizdale more for his bad night than I would blame Tim. Because if I was Fizdale, I probably would have just said, "Hey, get out! Like, just sit this one out, get right." Because he started off a little shaky, and then he got hurt, and then he came back, and then he was even worse because he couldn't like jump right and stuff. So I don't know how much I blame him for that one. I think this is hopefully an aberration, not something that's gonna keep happening.
And I also think that they started out pretty slow in the first quarter. Got outpaced.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. They did, and appreciate the call, man. Like Alex was saying, it could have been the Wizards pressure D. The Wizards just wanted it more than us tonight. But also, I thought it was a lack of effective point guard play, starting with Frank. Frank just didn't have it tonight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of those learning games for Frank. You know what I mean? I'm willing to sweep this sort of thing under the rug for him because I still look at him like, I mean, he's sort of like a rookie and a half. You know what I mean? I don't even look at him necessarily like a full-on second-year player because he's one of those kids that's like still clearly growing and stuff. And we've all gone through growth spurts and stuff, not at 20-something years old because we're not like, crazy basketball players and shit, but like it takes a lot of getting used to when your body goes through a growth spurt, and he apparently grew a couple inches over the summer and stuff. And I think until he stops growing and can finally like learn his fully, especially for offense, dribbling, point guard play, it's still going to be a night to night sort of learning experience for him.
Facts. All right, let's go back to the phones. Tony in the Bronx wants to talk about the game and Timmy leaving early. Tony, what's good, bro?
Yo, Knicks Fan TV, what's poppin'?
How's everything, man? How you doing?
It's Tony Crow.
Oh, Tony, what up, man?
I'm good. Yeah, I missed the game, but I did want to comment on a few things that's been on my mind.
Yep.
Number one, how you feel? Like I'm for Mitch Robinson starting, but I really think he should play under limited minutes. I'm a little concerned with him playing 30 plus minutes, especially if it's going to be every game. Just because he had that year off pretty much without playing college. So that's a concern with me. But I will say he's actually been a pleasant surprise at the same time. Like, I knew what he could do. I didn't think he would be this ready so far. So I am pleased with that. But you have any concern about him playing 30 plus minutes every night?
I think it's valid. I think it's valid. And shout out to Tony for calling in, man. I think it's a valid concern just because, like you said, he's not used to the demand and the grind of the NBA game, the physicality of the NBA game. We already saw him go down with a nagging ankle injury. So, Alex, I mean, what do you think? I think it would behoove the team to maybe, throttle the minutes down a little bit as the season pushes on, just to keep him, fresh. And those tall, lanky guys like that, they get those Marcus Camby type injuries, those nagging injuries. So, I get Tony's point on that. He definitely has a point. But what do you think?
Yeah, no doubt. I get it too. I do think, though, even though they've been starting him, if you look at his minute load so far, he's been clocking in around like 5 minutes since he started starting. So I think they already kind of have that in mind. But also, conditioning is definitely going to be an issue maybe going forward, like, because it always is with rookies, and especially for him, a rookie that didn't even play last year, you're saying on the phone. So that it makes sense, but I just think you just got to take it game by game, week by week, whatever. If he says he's tired and hopefully they're creating a culture where guys feel okay being honest with, the training staff and whatever. And that, maybe they'll even give him a rest day somewhere down the line. But yeah, even throttling his minutes, whatever, like you've got some decent depth. One thing I'll say is you'll probably see his minutes go down once Porzingis eventually comes back. So there might be a built-in way to sort of ease him through the end of the season here, which is going to be getting Porzingis back in there and working his rust off. So it could kind of be a blessing in disguise, when that happens for Mitch, that he'll get a little bit of a minute cut as we hit, hopefully around the halfway point, maybe a little further past the season. Then maybe Mitch will start getting less minutes. But like I said, I'll just evaluate him, just see how he's feeling. And it's pretty obvious when guys are like gassed, if it's like a back-to-back or something, and let's say we get a month or two down the line and he's clearly, not feeling too good, then, whatever, it might behoove them to sit him for a game or something.
That rookie wall, man, you gotta look out for that.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
another comment.
Go ahead, Sean.
Who do you think we're gonna have to get rid of to open up that spot for ISO Zoe? Because we can't we cannot let him go to the G League. We're gonna have to let somebody go and sign him full time.
I think it's Cornette. What do you think?
It's Cornette?
Yeah, because I think the Courtney Lee trade is looking less and less likely unless we get like an injury or something. They've been trying to trade Courtney Lee for like the last 2 years, yo. They can't trade him. He's untradeable right now. Moutier's what, $5 million he's making. Ron Baker's another $5 million. I think Cornette could be the cheapest cut. What do you think, Al?
Cornette would definitely be the cheapest. Yeah, there's no doubt there. He's the guy. And
you think they
Cornette,
go for money though?
It depends. So here's what you could potentially do, I think, and this might be why Cornette more likely. Cornette, I don't think, because he's like barely played this year, he hasn't met the qualifications yet where he can't sign a two-way deal. So they might actually work out something with Cornette where they buy him out they buy him out of his NBA deal and essentially swap him and Trier. Cornet up with a two-way deal again, so then he could still split some time between the two clubs, and then get Trier on a non-NBA contract. That would be my best guess, and I think that would be savvy of them. It would also probably go over well with Cornet's agent and with Cornet himself, because he still gets his full NBA payday and he gets a two-way deal on top of it. So,
okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Tony. Thanks for calling, man. Appreciate the call, man.
Yeah.
Just gotta move to the other callers, man. Definitely. Thanks for calling in, though.
No doubt, man. One love. Keep doing your thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's my guy Tony Crowan. Yeah, Al, we did speak about that a while back. You did mention that with Cornet. Could be a possibility with them cutting him and then, you know, bringing him back, you know, maybe on a two-way, maybe swapping him out that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would say you could do that. You could also just, I mean, if you just wanted to cut someone outright, you could cut Baker or whatever. You know, it seems like Baker's kind of fallen out of the rotation at this point. But I just think from a roster creation perspective, probably makes more sense. Cut Cornet, bring him back on a two-way again, and then you could just essentially have him ride out, do the same thing as last year. You know, have him stay in the G League for most of the year, and back up towards the end of the year, get him some runs, see if he's good. You know, maybe he improves a little bit. There's certain things about Luke Cornet's game that aren't going to be able to ever be fixed, though. Like just he's slow-footed, he's big. You know,
right.
He's all right. He's like a very, very, very discounted Porzingis. You know?
He's a dollar store Porzingis. Oh
exactly. Yeah.
Dollar store Porzingis, man. What do you guys think of the chat, man? What do you guys think in terms of roster moves? Who would you get rid of to keep ISO? Because there's no point in putting ISO in the G League. He's ready made for this NBA level. We got to keep him. What do we do? You know, let me know in the chat. Leave a comment in the chat. Let me know when we can read some of your comments here. Alex Dominica says we got no bigs. Well, that's one thing. You know, we're very shallow on the big man front. So, you know, cutting Cornet is gonna be tough. Like I said, ideally it's a Courtney Lee trade where you get nothing back but some picks. But that just seems like that door has just not been available to us to be open.
I think we're still just. I said this maybe last time I was on here. I think we're just gonna have to wait until someone gets injured or something. You know, it's gonna have to be an injury to someone, some team, or just a team that they hit the midway point of the season and say, okay, I think we can make a run. You know, I think we're definitely for sure in the driver's seat. Then they'll make some sort of move. But right now, nobody's really clamoring to make moves. Just trying to figure out if what they have works. So
indeed. Let's see. Siobhan Robinson says Baker got to slide. Nick Reyes says Baker. Illmatics. He says keep Baker. You'll make guys work hard in practice. Mac S says Baker. Gary Singh, Cornet, Baker. Beans Douglas, Baker. Nick Reyes, Moutier. Nate Love says Baker. A lot of Baker. But let me ask you, I'm not sure if you know, because I'm not sure. Right? Given that Baker's making close to I think 4 or 5. Like if they did cut him, how would that work against the cap? Would it just be whatever is remaining on his salary to be paid? Would they just pay that out? I don't know.
So basically, I'll try to put it in as easy terms as I can. So basically, it's like the Knicks are already over the cap for this year. They've already spent all of their cap money. You know what I mean? So whatever they do at this point doesn't really matter as far as cuts go, at least as it pertains to a guy like Baker. So Baker's in the last year of his deal. He's making $4.5 million or whatever it is. So if they cut him, all they have to do is the money. It doesn't matter. And then they don't gain that money back because it's already spent. So it still counts against the cap. But then they could just fill his roster spot with a minimum contract player or whatever the case. Sign someone and put them in that spot. So that's the long and the short of it. Basically, cutting Cornet versus cutting Baker, the only difference is money. It's just a difference of how much dead money James Dolan is paying this year. It doesn't affect the Knicks cap going forward in any way, one way or the other.
Okay, all right. So Baker could be a candidate then. It's certainly not out of the realm of a possibility.
Yeah, if it was a situation where Baker still had another year on his contract or something, then it might be a little more of an issue. Like, because then it was into an issue of buying him out of that. Like, so let's say if this was last year, Baker had a player option for this season. So last year they would have tried to cut him. Then they would have had to negotiate some sort of buyout on that player option probably, and that would have counted against the cap this year. You know, probably for a couple $1 million or something. But as it stands, he's an expiring contract, so cutting him it just costs you money. That's it.
All right, well, shit. Then if you know, according to that logic, Baker's is equally of viable candidate to be axed as ISO Luke. No, so it might come down to ISO Luke versus Baker, man. Yeah,
in a vacuum, I mean they're pretty much on equal footing. Like I said, the only thing I think might push it towards Cornette's way is that the Knicks, because of his NBA service so far, they can still sign him to a two-way contract again. So they might just opt to do that just so they don't have to actually lose him. I mean, so, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be intriguing. Yeah. I'm intrigued to see what happens with this whole deal.
Interesting. But yeah, one thing's for sure, ISO has to stay. You know what I mean?
Once December 12th or whatever that date is that they got to make that final decision, he's got to stay here. Can't send him to Westchester for even a day. That kid's he belongs on this team.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Once again, shout out to everybody in the chat. Give us a thumbs up. If you're liking the stream, give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Those are the two best ways to support the channel. When you guys do that and you comment in the chat, it promotes the videos. It gets some more Knicks fans. If you know a Knicks fan that's not watching this show, share the video, share the channel. You know, the more that we have in there, the more the merrier. The more that'll come to our watch parties when we have the next one. So, like I said, we're just trying to build a community here. And, you know, so far, so good. So appreciate everybody for the support so far. Michael Parker, appreciate the super chat. We met Michael Parker Friday night at the party. Real stand-up guy. Had a good conversation with him. And, you know, yeah, like I said, man, definitely thanks for the support, man. You've been supporting the channel since day one. So shout out to Michael Parker. Al, you want to do some player ratings? Let's go to the box. Go and do some player ratings, man. All right, so we started off. I got the box score open. Noah Vonleh, 2 points, 4 rebounds. So off night for Vonleh tonight, man. Only 10 minutes. I really don't even feel like rating him, to be honest with you, because I'd probably give him like a 2. Noah Vonleh, he just didn't have it tonight, man. Noah Vonleh didn't have it. Well, what do you think about it?
I'd give him, let's say a 2. It was I barely even remember him being out there, to be totally honest. It was just a very forgettable night. I see he's got 4 fouls, so I assume he got yanked for foul trouble.
Oh yeah, he was out of it from the first half with foul trouble, man. Definitely, man.
It's weird, man, because I legit watched the whole game, and outside of the first couple minutes when he was in there, I don't even remember the second time he came back in, and I assume it was only 2 stints.
Yeah, he caught a quick foul and he was immediately out of there again. So
very forgettable night for him. Very not memorable at all. So 2 out of 10.
Yeah, 2. I give him a 2. Money Mitch, 26 minutes, 3 of 6 from the field, 50%, 10 points, 6 boards, 1 block. You know, we were all minus for the night, so it's hard to even go to plus minus. But what would you give Money Mitch for his effort tonight, 1 to 10?
I give him a solid 8. I think he held his own really well against Dwight Howard, which was cool to see. There was one sequence where he actually kind of out-muscled Dwight for a rebound and then dunked it on his head. Yeah, and that was really cool.
He out-Dwighted Dwight. That was nice to see, man.
Yeah, exactly. He had that really nice. I mean, it was an equally nice pass from Frank, but that awesome sprinting alley-oop going down the lane. That was dope. So from an entertainment perspective, as usual, he gets a 10. From purely a game perspective, he has a couple moments where he was kind of lost his temper a little bit, stuff like that. So that knocks him down a little bit. All in all, another very solid game from Mitch. I liked what I saw.
Yeah, I thought it was a solid game from Mitch. 10.6 rebounds. I'd probably give him a 7. I'll give him a 7. You know, like I said, one of the stories of tonight was him against Dwight Howard. And I thought, he held his own out there. So I give Mitch a 6. I mean 7. I give Mitch a 7. Let's go to Frank. 6 points, 2 blocks for Frank, 4 dimes, 3-7 shooting on 23 minutes. What are you giving Frank tonight? 1 to 10.
I struggle a little bit with this one because it didn't feel like one of his better games. Like we were saying earlier, he definitely struggled against like an engaged John Wall tonight.
Yeah.
And I think that showed. So I'm gonna give him like a 6 tonight. And that's against him all in all. I mean, he still had a few nice assists. He really couldn't put it in the hoop today.
Yeah.
But the defense was always there. I feel like if you're being real, you can never really give Frank less than about a 5 because his defense is always there, and that's half the game.
I agree.
So I'll give him a 6.
Yeah,
I think a 6 today.
I give him a 5 only because we needed him to pick up the pace today and get the offense going. He didn't really get that done. Like learning experience. Obviously, not trying to put no blame on him or nothing like that. Just calling it like I see it. He just didn't give us what we needed offensively. But I thought defensively he was good. I also thought he even though he didn't get the team involved that much, he also took a little too long to get his own shot. I think he didn't take another field goal until like the second, third quarter. So we didn't get the aggressive Frank tonight, but the defensive effort was there. So I'll give him a 5. I'll give Frank a 5. Go ahead.
Definitely a consistent theme with him. Definitely consistent theme with him, like always having to be told to look for a shot.
Yeah, and that'll come, man. And like you said, John Wall, go for blood John Wall tonight, obviously with his team struggling. It was a tough matchup for Frank, so he did what he could. Let's go to Dotson.
Yep.
11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 dimes for Dot. 5 of 11 from the field, 50% damn near. Closed out the first half very well. 12 straight games in double figures. What are you giving Dotson tonight? 1 to 10.
I'll give him like a 7.
Yeah.
Just it was a good game. I wouldn't say it was not even close to his best, of the season so far. So he's playing well though. You know what I mean? It was kind of like status quo for how he's been playing lately. He gets you double figure points. He gets you above average rebounds for a guard. Shot pretty efficiently. He didn't hit a 3-pointer tonight, which is a little uncharacteristic for him. Yeah. But all in all, made some smart plays. Took care of the ball fairly well. 2 turnovers. Not perfect, but
yeah.
I'd say he is a solid 7. About what you could ask him. Nothing spectacular though.
Yeah, I give Dot a 7. I thought he saved us from he saved the game from really getting out of hand in the first half. Because overall offensively we were so poor, but he was able to pour it in, close the first half with 9 points, and so I thought he was solid in that regard. So I give Dot a 7. But I've been liking what I'm seeing from him all over, and I'm happy that he's in the starting lineup for sure, man. Happy that he's in the starting lineup.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, Timmy, 24 minutes. Obviously, he had the back injury, 2 of 10 shooting. Probably his worst performance of the year. 7 points, 4 assists, 4 rebounds. What are you giving Timmy tonight?
I'm giving him an incomplete tonight.
Yeah.
He doesn't get graded tonight because honestly, like I said, I'm not convinced that what we saw tonight was the real Tim Hardaway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a guy who came out a little cold, but Tim tends to do that sometimes. Come out a little cold, and then he heats up, and then it's like off to the races from there.
Right.
And he just wasn't able to ever hit that point where he heat up tonight because he was, hurt obviously, and he just didn't have much lift, and he was grabbing his back all night. I incomplete just because I think he shouldn't have even been out there for half those minutes.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He was hurt. I have to give him a 5 because he still logged 24 minutes. He was still out there. But more so incomplete. You know what I mean? I'll give Timmy a pass tonight. Luke Cornett only gets 2 minutes. We're not gonna grade him. Super Mario, 25 minutes, 10 points. Probably the only Knick in the plus territory, plus 11. 3 steals, 3 assists, 8 rebounds. What are you giving Super Mario tonight? 2 of 5 from 3. What are you giving Super Mario?
I mean, grading him I'm going to grade him a little bit on a curve based off, what I want to see from him kind of. And I'll give him like a 9 tonight. He played pretty good. It's quietly, he wasn't, but he hit a few shots. Like, he was a big part of that run when the Knicks in the third quarter started making it a game again, and he was a big part of that. Him, Trier, Dotson, those three guys really played a big part in that. But he hit a clutch three. He had 3 steals, which is crazy.
3 steals, yeah.
He was playing the lanes pretty well. Only 1 turnover, which is like perfect for him, because he's at his worst when he's turned the ball over, you know, and when he's acting crazy out there. And he was pretty composed. He seemed to play within himself tonight.
Yeah.
And the 8 rebounds too. 8 rebounds is really solid from him. So yeah, I think he was like a 9 out of 10. It was a really good performance from him. And should Tim have to, you know, tomorrow or miss any time, hopefully Hazonia plays that way. If he has to sub in there for Hardaway's minutes in any sort of meaningful way.
Yeah, I give him about a 7.5. I give him a 7.5. I thought, he filled the stat sheet up, had some good numbers: 10 points, 8 rebounds off the bench, 25 minutes. He was composed, like you said, you know, which is uncharacteristic of him. You know what I'm saying? So good outing by Mario. I'll give him a 7.5. He tried his best to keep us in the game. And you know, this is the type of game, if you could get a little bit more points from him, say 12 to 15, you know, that'd be a nice contribution off the bench for Mario, man. But I give him a 7.5 tonight. Let's see what he does tomorrow. We'll see. Hopefully he doesn't let me down tomorrow, man. All right, let's go to Lance. Lance is tough. He got 8 minutes, 5 points, 3 rebounds, +1. Looked like he only played in the first half. Maybe a little bit in the second, but I thought what he did in the first was pretty admirable. I don't really know, because 8 minutes is not really enough to grade him. I don't know. I wouldn't really grade him.
I was really surprised to see him not come back in the second half, because the shooting line's great. I mean, he took a couple shots that were maybe a little questionable, but all in all, he was playing pretty good D in the first half. It was kind of strange to not see him come back in the second, but they might have actually just like a for real like minutes throttling agenda with him, of just not wanting to play him that many minutes, because it's another deal, almost like Cantor to a lesser extent, though. Like look, like, you're not necessarily going to be part of the future here. Like, you got to prioritize giving minutes to guys like Zoe, like even like Trey Burke, you know, like even Moutier to an extent. Because Moutier, you have the chance to maybe develop still in some meaningful way. So I think it's just one of those deals. But I'll give him like I'll give him a 6.
Yeah,
we'll say, because with the minutes he did have, I was like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I thought I'm gonna give him. I'll just say he played well. So, you remember in elementary school where you get like satisfactory grades? You don't really get like number grades or letter grades. He was satisfactory. You know what I mean? For tonight, so we'll see.
Yeah, so he got the he got the S.
Yeah, he got the S on the paper. You know what I mean? And maybe tomorrow he'll maybe lock some more minutes. Obviously, given the second of a back-to-back, maybe we'll see him a bit more tomorrow. But I like you. I was a little bit surprised he didn't get more minutes in the second half. All right, Ennis the Menace, 24 minutes, double-double. Ennis back in town, 18 points, 12 rebounds, a little bit over 50% from the field, 8 of 14. Listen, Cantor tried to carry us in that stretch when we were trying to come back. I thought he finished the first half well, and I thought he had a good third and fourth quarter. What are you giving Ennis on the night?
Look, I'm not going to take this lightly, because I wouldn't normally give Cantor this rating ever, so I'm going to like relish the opportunity to be able to give it to him, but I'm going to give him a 10.
You give him a 10?
Out of 10, I think.
Oh my God.
I'm going for it. For it. Because why not? You know what I mean?
You give him a 10?
I don't know if I've ever felt as good about him after a game as I did tonight. Just the fact that he was playing the other side of the ball.
He did play defense.
You know, like,
he did play defense.
How often do you see Cantor really give a shit on defense? And like, so I'm not going to take that lightly. I'm going to give him the 10, because quite frankly, like, 18 points, 12 boards, so he got his counting stats, you know, which he always gets. But then he played good defense too, and I'm kind of proud of him for that. Yeah. So fuck it. Yeah, he gets a 10 out of 10 today. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Sheesh. That's a liberal score, man. I'm gonna give him. I'll tell you my grading, man, because I didn't give you my grading before we got on, so it's a little bit unfair because this is your first time, so I won't get on you for the 10. But I don't really give 10s unless it has to be a win and it has to be like a lights out performance. You know what I mean? That's just me. Right. That's just me. You can grade it how you like.
See, but to me, seeing Enes Kanter guard John Wall one-on-one on the perimeter and force a turnover, it was
a pleasant surprise. It was a pleasant surprise. I agree.
It was heat, man. It was good. It was as good as I could possibly expect from Kanter. Maybe I'm just looking for the opportunity to give him a 10 for once, because I would never give him a 10 otherwise. So you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to help him out.
I'll move him from a 7 for the typical double-double. I'll give him an 8 for the defensive effort. That's it. I know 9. I'm not giving nobody 9s tonight because we lost the game. And 10s, you got to save that for just crazy level performance. I'm saving the 10s. I haven't given anybody a 10 this year, and no 9s because we lost. But I'll give Ken a solid 8 for playing good defense. I'll give him an 8 for playing defense, and he kept us in the game. He kept us in the game. You know what I'm saying?
I'd probably make a terrible teacher because I'll grade everything on a curve, man. I'd give so many A's. I could never be a teacher.
Oh man. Damn, we played like so many guys tonight. All right, what are you giving Moutier? 4 points, 3 assists. Moutier 1 of 5 on the night, 23 minutes. What are you giving Moutier tonight?
Oh, I'm swinging entirely the other way now because we got Boutier here.
Is he Moutier? Is he Boutier? Depends.
He was Boutier today. He was for sure Boutier.
Yeah, it was Boutier. Boutier came out tonight, man. Boutier came out.
There's one sequence that stands out to me where he was bringing the ball up the court, had a relatively easy passing to get they were kind of in transition, but they didn't really have numbers. I think it was like 4-on-4 maybe, and he had a relatively easy opportunity to get the ball into the post to I forget who, Mitch, Kanter, whoever, and he tries to lob it like super soft, like over the top. Wall down, grabs it, starts running back. To his credit, Moutier actually tried to run back with him, but then he literally just let him get to the hoop. And I'm like, well, that was emblematic Moutier sequence I've ever seen in my life. Like throw the ball away and then lightly play defense down the other end and give up a bucket. So forget it, man. I mean, 3 out of 10.
I give Boutier a 4. Say welcome back. I'll give him a 4. He had a decent game against Dallas, but he was Boutier tonight. Forget it. Trigger Trey Burke, 20 minutes, 13 points, 3 assists, 6 of 13 shooting, damn near 50%. What are you going with Trigger tonight?
I'll give him a 6. Just because honestly, his game was kind of forgettable to me for some reason today.
Yeah.
Even on the assist to turnover ratio, which isn't great for a guy who's typically more of a distributor like him. And yeah, I don't know, just all in all, kind of a forgettable game for him. Did he lose the cornrows after going in the last game?
Yeah, I think he still had the braids in the Dallas game, so he must have cut it over the weekend.
I was gonna say, did I not notice that because we were at the bar? But man, he got rid of the
Trey Eye is no longer. It's just Trey.
Now he's just Trey Burke again.
Now he's just Trey.
Old Trey Burke.
Or it might be Alfonso. And his real name is Alfonso, man. It might be Alfonso's back. I'll give Alfonso. I give Trey about a 5-6. He's getting lost in the shuffle in this point guard battle. I feel bad because he had a good story last year, and I like him. I like him as a person. I think he's a fighter out there, but he's getting lost in the mix. But still, 13 points, 50% shooting, nothing to sneeze at. 20 minutes. I give him a 6. I'll give Trey a 6. I'll give Trey a 6, man. And let's wrap it up. ISO Zoe, 22 minutes, 9 points. 2 rebounds for ISO, 50% shooting. What are you giving ISO on his performance tonight?
I think I'm gonna give him. I'll give him an 8 because, like I was saying before, the stat sheet doesn't show what he did tonight. Like he definitely, his game was a lot closer to that Dallas game tonight than you would think. You know what I mean? Just based off looking at the box scores for the 2 games. But he came out and did a very similar thing. You know, he came out, he pushed the pace, he made some buckets, started getting the Knicks back in it when they really needed to get back into it. So I think he was deserving of like an 8 tonight.
Yeah.
He played a damn good game.
I agree. I give him a 7. I thought ISO, like you said, I thought his impact on the game, especially to close that third quarter, kind of matching John Wall's intensity. It didn't show up on the stat sheet, but you know, I give him a 7. I think ISO's a fighter, man. I give ISO a 7 for sure. All right, man. Yo, that was your first edition of player ratings, man. What would you think?
Yeah.
Outside of the 10 for Canada, the chat was killing you for that Canada one, man. The chat was ready to revolt, man.
Man, I just want to give you love once, man. I do a lot of shitting on Canner, you know, just like everybody does.
Facts.
For the defense and everything. He deserved to be praised tonight, you know. I maybe he'll watch this and he'll see that I gave him a 10, and then he'll decide to give that effort on D every night, because if he does that, then we're like a totally different, you know, he's a totally different player.
Yeah.
And his outlook here is potentially totally different. So, yeah, other than that, I feel I'm already regretting that decision a little bit. Maybe I should have scaled it back to a 9. But other than that, I think I did okay.
True indeed. I always forget about Fizz, man. Everybody in the chat's like, yo, grade Fizz. How would you grade Fizz tonight? I feel like the coach is just a different, you know, it's a different scale that you really have to grade the coach on, because a lot of that is on how he play.
Yeah, I think I'd give him like 6.5 tonight. I actually don't think tonight was Fizdale's best night. I think that he left some guys out there a little too long. In particular, Trier, I think. I mean, did Trier sit down at all between the third and fourth quarters? Like,
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think when Frank came in, I think Frank came in for Moutier, if I'm not mistaken. Which I thought was the right move. I didn't really have an issue with the
Trier,
rotation.
I mean, Trier was the only could get a bucket tonight, and he played him for like 14 straight minutes, it seemed like, you know, and you can't really do that. Like, guys, nobody's superhuman, you know, and everybody gets gassed at some point, especially just in the regular season, you know, on regular old game, you know what I mean? It's not like he's playoff energy going through his bones or something right now where he's like, you know, unbeatable. So I thought the rotations tonight just left a little bit to be desired. But all in all, they just did the thing they've been doing, which is fell behind, came back, and then on this particular night fell behind more again. But they fought, you know, they tried hard. I think Fizz gets a 6 out of 5 or a 6.5.
Yeah, I would give Fizz. No, I'm gonna give Fizz a 7. I'm gonna give him a 7 because for what we are dealing with this roster, a young team, inexperienced, lacking talent at times. Timmy didn't have it. They still fought against a Wizards team. Yes, the Wizards are reeling, but they are a playoff team with the better team. You know, John Wall, Beal, Howard, Morris, Jeff Green. You know, they have seasoned vets, good, talented players. And we still fought on the road. You know, so I give him credit. I didn't really have that much of an issue with the rotation in terms of who was playing. But, I mean, do you feel like, you know, a lot of people in the chat are saying that too many people on the bench. He went with too many guys. What do you think about that? You think it looks like we went with about 12? How many did we go with tonight?
Yeah, so it was like, realistically, it was about 10. I mean,
10.
If you don't count Cornette and Baker and then you can and then Thomas only played 8 minutes. So, and honestly, Vonleh only played 10 minutes too. So I don't really think he played too many people.
It's true.
Yeah,
and those guys got in garbage time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So really, the only people that played significant minutes were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Say about 8 players.
9 guys. I mean, and really, like, on a team like this where we don't have like bona fide guys that have roles carved out, or we're still trying to figure stuff out, I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's fine. Playing 9, 10 guys a night, you know, you're just really trying to, this whole year really is just about figuring out who's going to be here for the long haul.
That's the thing.
Yes, that's a valuable exercise, to play a lot of games on any given night, I think. So I don't have a problem with it. I think he did a good job with that. With at least like how many people he played and for how long. I wish staggered slightly different tonight.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it either. And like you said, he's trying to figure out what he's working with. He's trying to figure out what he's dealing with on this team. And so, guys are going to get, rotated in and out. So we are 3-7 now, right? We are 3-7. At the first 5 games, he made the rotation change. We're now at the next 5 games. We got Knox on the horizon. Let's wrap up with this. What do you think happens here? Do you think he claims every 5 games he was going to take a look at things? What do you think he's going to do with the rotation now? How do you figure Knox factoring in and who might be the odd man out?
So as far as the starting lineup goes, I think I'd probably keep it the same for now. I've actually been kind of digging the starting lineup.
Me too.
I think, I think it leaves more to be desired. You know what I mean? I still kind of want to see. I like this Mitch and Vonleh thing most nights. So far I'm pretty cool. I actually kind of like Canner coming off the bench because
me too.
It hides his deficiencies a little bit. Burke coming off the bench as well, same deal. It kind of hides his deficiencies and lets him do what he does well. And I think Knox is in. I mean, if you're looking at the minute load, I'd probably say the guys that'll take the biggest hits would be Hazonia and Lance Thomas will pretty much get phased out, would be my guess. That's probably where you'll find most of Knox's minutes, but they're going to ease him in at first. So what I would say as far as the every 5 games thing is that I would probably put it on hold just for the moment. Let Knox get back, let him come off the bench for a little bit. But if it warrants it and he looks like he's playing really well, then maybe throw him in the starting lineup, see how it goes. Maybe drop if you want to go small or something, maybe put Mitch back on the bench and bring him off as like your first big off the bench kind of thing.
Right.
And start Knox out of Vonleh, Ntilikina, Dotson, and Hardaway. That would be an intriguing lineup that could maybe run a little bit and have some pretty good energy. So
indeed.
But it all depends.
Yeah.
Knox. We literally. I'm not even counting the Celtics game. We only have 2 games worth of real analysis on him.
True.
And it was one kind of pretty game and one like pretty darn good game. So it's like, you got to see who shows up. He's probably going to be a little rusty to start with. So I wouldn't worry about getting him more than 10, 15 minutes, in his first couple games back, just to ease him back.
Ease him in.
Get it figured out.
Yeah. Now I'm with you on the rotation. I want to keep the same starting 5. I feel like that's a starting 5 that has a future here. Even Vonleh, I think Vonleh has a good chance of being brought back. So that's the starting 5 I want to go with. I think if there was ever going to be a change, I hope he doesn't go with any type of Moutier thing. He did try to squeeze that in there a couple weeks ago. And I told Jay Ellis I was going to bring this up, but I was like, you know what? I think we was coming off a win. I was like, I'm not even going to talk about the Moutier thing. But he did kind of squeeze in that he would find a starting opportunity for Moutier at some point this season. I really hope he's not going to stick to that. But maybe you'll see Canner come back in the rotation. At some point, obviously, you'll see Knox come back into the starting rotation. But for now, I want to keep it the same. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Leave me a comment. What do you think about the rotation as it is now? What do you want to see going forward? And when Knox comes back, who do you think is going to be the odd man out? Leave a comment in the chat, and if you're watching on replay, leave it in the comment section. Let us know what you think about that. But yeah, man, Alex Wolf. First time in substituting for Jay Ellis, man. What you think tonight, man?
Yeah,
good stuff. Man.
I thought this was cool, man. Yeah, it's fun, man. I love coming on here. It was I miss Jay Ellis. I like chatting with him too. But
yeah,
I had a good time. I thought this was cool. I thought I did. How'd I do as a co-host? I should ask you.
Seamless, man. Seamless. Outside of the 10 out of 10 snafu, the chat. I thought I was gonna lose everybody in the chat, but everybody stuck around by and large. So it wasn't that bad, man.
You guys could just hold that over me for now. That'll just be like my thing that you guys can shit on me for now, from now until forever.
Absolutely,
Pause.
man. Absolutely. All right, so I'm gonna put the screen on you. I'm gonna start my theme music up. Whatever you want to promote. Give me a sec. Tommy Hume, appreciate the subscribe. Tommy Hume, my subscribe graphic was out of whack. All right, Alex, go ahead, man.
All right, so just check me out on postingandtoasting.com. That's SB Nation's New York Knicks blog. Twitter at the Alex Wolf, AlexWolfe. Other than that, man, I don't know. I don't got that much to promote. check out PT Knicks blog on Twitter too. I run the main site account now, so that's where you find most of my tweets anymore. I don't tweet as much on my own now. Yeah, that's it, man. I'm a simple guy.
Alex Collins said you got a 10 out of 10 for the McGrady jersey at the watch party.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm glad some people like that, but that was polarizing. I caught some heat on Twitter for that.
Nah, that was
people were like, oh, triggering me, blah blah blah. I'm like, hey, Tracy McGrady's my favorite player, man. Like, I love Tracy McGrady, so I was happy to wear that jersey.
Yeah.
It's like my favorite one. It took me like 5 years to find that thing.
Did you see the guy in there with the Ron Baker jersey though?
I did. I talked with him for a little bit. He was the man. Did you see the Channing Frye jersey?
I did. There was somebody in there with a Channing Frye jersey. There was somebody in there with a dope Anthony Mason jersey as well, man. So yeah, that was cool.
I had some competition, man. There was some good jerseys there the other day.
Facts. Well, yo, man, definitely appreciate it. Well, obviously we're gonna do it again, man, but definitely appreciate it. And shout out to everybody who came through tonight. Tough loss, 108-95. Knicks lose, but we got another game tomorrow against the Bulls. Hopefully we bounce back and get a W. We'll be back here. Bring it back here tomorrow night. 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Knicks Bulls will recap it, take your phone calls, do the player ratings again. Probably Jay Ellis will be back. So shout out to everybody who came in tonight. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Knicks Fan TV. Always on, always talking Knicks. So yeah, man, definitely appreciate everybody for coming through. Let me shout out some people in the chat. Chester, Chetnik Nation, shout out Chester, D Brown, D Grant, Jonathan Shulman, Keith Sinclair, Nick Reyes, good times over the weekend, Nick. Ronnie P, Above the Rim, always in here, appreciate you, Above the Rim. Delano, always in here. Delano Steele, appreciate you, man. Who else? Call me Tack, all the way from Oakland, shout out to Tack, all the way in Oakland. Jet Life for Life, I don't know if you're a Currency fan, but shout out to Currency, that's my guy. Alex Collins, appreciate you again. Knicks Fan TV Dave on the phones, appreciate Knicks Fan TV Dave. Ace Bez, appreciate you, Ace, man. So yeah, we'll see you guys tomorrow night, 10:30 Eastern. Alex Collins, appreciate you, man. And yeah, man, you guys have a good evening. Be safe out there, get some rest, and we'll check you guys back tomorrow. Peace.